Greg Brodzinski, the new BlueClaws manager for the 2023 season, and we're excited to welcome him to the BlueClaws. Greg, welcome. How are you?
I'm doing great, Greg. How about yourself?
Great. So we talked right before we came on the air, and you had said that one of the things that you had always told people in the Phillies, one of your goals was to be a major league manager. So now you get your first shot. How excited are you to get to make out your own lineup here come April 7th?
I'm very, very excited. It's hard to put into words how fortunate I feel for the opportunity to manage a ball club and it be with the Phillies organization. And I think Jersey Shore is a great first stop in my managerial career, and I'm just really appreciative to the organization and the opportunity to manage. So I'm very, very excited.
So what have you learned over the years? You've been in the system now for 7 years, or 8 years. What have you learned from being around both minor league players, major league players, coaches, that you're ready to apply now as you run your own team?
One thing that I've been really fortunate of throughout the last eight seasons or so is being around great coaches. I think the Phillies organization consistently, has really good coaching staff, whether it's player development or in the big leagues. And I've gotten to be around, a lot of those coaches with different roles that I've been in at different locations. So I've just tried to be a sponge from the start. That's some of the advice that I got from the older coaches when I made that transition from playing to coaching was, it's a different world. It's a different side of the game than when you're playing that you don't even really worry about. So I really took that advice to heart and learned as much as I could from the start. And there's still so much more to learn, obviously, as you go on and you do these things firsthand. But I've gotten to talk to a lot of amazing managers within the game. I got to be around a lot of amazing managers. I'm still around a lot of baseball people that I've managed, and consistently relying on them, for information and leaning on them in different situations that come up, even this part of the year going into a season. I just tell them I never want to miss anything. So I fire a lot of questions back and forth. There's a lot of great people I've gotten a chance to talk to, and just thankful to the Phillies for putting me in a lot of, really good situations to be around a lot of great coaches.
How did the transition to coaching come about for you? Because it happened relatively quickly after you started your playing career.
Right. So obviously got drafted and playing, and I love, obviously, the game of baseball. I love playing as a catcher. That was always one of my goals in my life and career, was to get drafted and play professionally. I did know throughout my journey in baseball, and my dad is a coach, and I'm sure we'll talk about him at different times, but I knew that I wanted to coach at some point in my life. I didn't know it would be something that was an opportunity that soon. So obviously played 15, came in for 16, played during spring training. And then the question kind of came up at the end of spring training. Would you ever be interested in getting into coaching? And I knew just from past thoughts that have come up, I wanted to be in professional baseball. And the fact that, I'm getting to do all of this with the Philadelphia Phillies is amazing, growing up 20 minutes from the stadium. So it was an opportunity that became available. And like I kind of mentioned before, a lot of great coaches, a lot of great people in the organization that I talked to about different things. It kind of hits you pretty quick, like might not be playing anymore, but I knew that it was a new opportunity that doesn't become available often, and I kind of jumped on it. So from the advice of the staff around and the coaches and the people within this organization, it was, one of the best decisions I think I ever made, because I absolutely love what I do. And I've got to learn so much and do so many different things in this game that I probably wouldn't have gotten to do as a player. And so that's kind of how it came about. And I'm thankful every day that it did.
Well, you mentioned your father, so we could go there now. Keith Werman was the manager here last year, and his father was his high school coach, and obviously a major influence on Keith as he managed it and played before he got onto the other side. How did your father influence you both as a player and as a coach?
I just think from the time I was young, he created a passion for the game that, stays with me now. It'll stay with me through my whole life. And he always made it fun. From the time I was young, it was something that we did together on a daily basis, whether it was going to games or practicing. We went to the field and hit with each other almost every day. buying baseball cards, getting starting lineups, going. He always had, at least a partial season ticket package at the Phillies games. Sitting at night and watching, 2 games if we could, and just talking through baseball. He kind of, and it's funny because he's a basketball coach by trade his whole life, but he loves and has an absolute passion for baseball. So he, kind of ingrained that into me, and it was something, throughout my whole life that was really fun to do with my dad. And he has a lot of knowledge of the game. So he taught me like the right way to play baseball at a young age. And, he was my coach. He was my hitting coach. He was my catching coach. We did so much together. We would travel. He'd bring an L straight in the back of the minivan, and we'd find a field to hit no matter what we were doing. So just all the things that we did together created the love of the game that I have, that I still have today. And I'm thankful for him for that, because he, showed me the right way to do a lot of things. And we had a lot of fun doing it.
How did he coach you through Legion High School?
No, so I always, no, he never was like a coach of a team I was on.
Gotcha.
But we'd practice together all the time. He'd be at every single one of my games. And, not only would, he'd be there for the practice side of things, but also, the dad side of things. And, we talked through when I didn't have a good game, and things that I could do better. And he always staying on me to make sure, I was doing the right things, and created a work ethic that I just saw from him. And my mom's another one too. Like, I remember we're from the Northeast, and when my dad was out of town or working or something, she'd be doing drills with me inside the garage. And
Wow.
yeah, my parents really, it was a special how much they've been a part of this journey, and how much, they instilled in me at a young age that I've been able to carry on. And they've also, been part of so much, since being with the Phillies in my professional career, that, not only, you realize that you enjoy it for yourself, but it's also a family thing, and they've gotten to enjoy a lot of it as well.
I mean, you went to Bishop Eustace, which is only about 45 minutes from here.
Yeah,
So
not
you're
far.
gonna have, it's about, well, here, I looked it up. It's more than that. It's an hour 20, but not that far.
Right.
You're gonna have, you gotta have some people from there come out, right? Your family gonna be able to make it out to a bunch of games?
Absolutely. They'll be out there. I grew up in Sewell, Blackwood, in New Jersey, so it's probably about an hour from where Lakewood's at. And but they've recently moved out to Pittsburgh. My 2 older brothers have kids, and so they have grandkids now. And they just my mom finally retired. She was a teacher forever, and they moved out there. But they'll be there in Brooklyn for opening day, and then they're going to come
Awesome.
over for our opening homestand, and they will spend a lot of time out in the Jersey Shore. And I guarantee you'll get to meet them.
You're gonna, and they will too, because now you get, the Monday off days. I'm sure you would have loved the schedule that they have now for you guys when you played,
Yeah, it's a
right?
great schedule for a
Yeah,
lot
it
of
is. It
reasons,
is.
but I do think it's a good thing that they've done that. And in terms of even just like when you think about like game planning aspects and preparing for a series, it gives you a little bit more time to really dive in deep and get ready for the next series that's coming up.
And it's great for the players too, with
Mhm.
the the rest and the limited travel. It's just a whole different deal. I remember the last year of the old format, because the BlueClaws were up here and they were in the South Atlantic League,
Yep.
being a northern team. And they did, I think we did 14,000 miles all bus.
Yeah.
And I didn't run the math or whatever for this year, but uh last year was something like 2,500. And
Wow.
one of them was or it might have been maybe 3,000, and half that was a back and forth to Bowling Green, and almost the rest of it was a back and forth to Winston-Salem, and everything else was within 2.5 hours. That was unheard of
Yeah.
in the old system. But anyway, so that part's exciting as well. Who were some of your biggest baseball influences when you were growing up?
Well, obviously my mom and dad, like when looking back on my career, and just different things, obviously in the game and then in life, that they instilled in me, because so much, correlates with baseball is life skills, and the
Yeah,
ability to connect with people, the ability to be a teammate, the ability to um, be around, a diverse group of people. Like, they've instilled a lot of things from a young age that have been really great traits, and because they're great people themselves. And so going back to all the different things that I did with my dad growing up, and my mom growing up, and the with one thing with my mom, she always talked, about, perseverance, the hard times in baseball and how you get through those, and patience, and, um, consistently, having a good personality, and not changing who you are. Like, they were every type of coach that you possibly have now in professional baseball. My mom and dad were all that, wrapped in one throughout my life. So they were huge influences on, you know, a lot of what I've gotten to do in the game, and the person that I am today as well.